Hello everybody and welcome back to The Farmer Was Replaced. My name is Jeff. You can call me Jeff. Let's get back into the game. Oh, no, that's the wrong kind of run. Just regular run. Still works. It's always nice when you come back and your code still runs. Alright, so we were about to unlock. I wonder if there's a limit to how many speed increases you can get. Okay, that's 2. Or another one. Another one. Just a few more carrots. Oh, now it's too fast. Did you hear it pause, waiting for something to grow? Probably the bushes. Nope, got one carrot. Let's see, there's the grass. Benchmark? What are you? Costs 1,000 treasure chests. Treasure chests, carrots. Upgrade. Trees. Let's go for trees. I'm guessing this will help our wood situation. Aha! Trees are a better way to get wood than bushes. They give 5 wood each. Like bushes, they can be planted on grass or soil. Trees like to have some space, and planting them right next to each other will slow down their growth. The growing time is doubled for each tree that is on a tile directly north, south, east, or west. So if you plant trees on every tile, it'll take 16 times longer to grow. Yikes. So we can plant them diagonally, right? So if I wanted to do that with the... This is some kind of spoiler. Ah, yeah, I was gonna say, do some kind of loop with shifting everything by 1. So the modulo operator here can be useful. Remember that the % operator returns the remainder of the division. So even numbers divided by 2 have a remainder of 0, and odd numbers divided by 2 have a remainder of 1. So you can check if a number is even, like this is even. Return n% that equals 0. And it's true, and false if it isn't. So what we could do is like here, 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 and here. The easiest way to do that would be like if row and column are equal, rather than using the modulo division here. And then I'd want everything else shifted by 1, I think, rather than doing just plain rows. I don't know. See, position a bit of grass. Everything else is a bush. I kind of just want to plant 1 tree and see how it goes. So instead of planting a bush, let's say here, let's plant a tree, just 1. So that would mean position Y is 3 and position X is 0. so elif, another else if condition here. Else if, rather than get position X and get position Y, we have the row and column right now. We could do that. Something like column equals 0 and row equals 3, right? Equals 3. Yeah, so if there is something there, check if we can harvest to a flip, so we don't have to worry about whether it's ready or not. We just plant entities.tree. Let's see what happens. Should get to that fourth one. Harvest the bush and plant a tree. Oh. Alright, why did I put it in here instead? Oh. Position would be better. Because column and stuff are always going to be 0, but we're not always starting at 0, 0. We're not always starting down here. That's why we ended up with a tree there. Okay, so it probably is better to just do it. Get position. Get position Y equals 3 and get position X up there. Position X equals 0. So fourth row, first column. Yep. Oops. Yeah, that's an error. These are functions I have to call with parentheses. Otherwise, I just named them. So this time it'll get to there and plant a tree. Yeah. There isn't like a move to 0, 0, right? There's just move north, south, east, and west. Move. Takes the time of 200 operations to execute if the drone has moved one operation otherwise. Okay. Because it'd be nice to not have it be doing that weird flip around the board thing. It almost looks random. Just because we didn't stop it at 0, 0. I was still missed. Anyway, look at how much wood we have now. We were kind of staying even around 50-something because we were using a lot of the wood from the bushes for carrots. We got a better watering. Water the plants to make them grow faster. That would be nice. Define your own functions might also be nice. I don't... Oh, I do have. Hey. Hey. Alright, functions. Close the trees. Use the define def keyword to define a new function. F arg1 arg2 equals false function code. You can use the call operator, parentheses, to call the function. Unlike Python, functions defined in the global scope of any open file can be called by their name, even if the def statement has never been executed. Huh. See scopes for more information on this. It determines which variables can be accessed from it. Where a scope is basically a mapping from names to values. Yep, they work the same as in Python, but not always, so be sure to read section carefully. Alright, just like Python, there is a global scope and each function has a local scope. When you define a variable, it gets added to the current scope. So like y is inside of the f scope here. If g is defined inside of the scope of f, so you shouldn't be able to use g outside of the f function if you define like another function inside of a function, which is a weird thing, but you can do it. Anything outside a function definition is considered part of the global scope. So x equals 1 is part of the global scope, y is not. And that just kind of means, where can I use it? When somebody talks about scope in programming, where can you use a variable or a function? So f retrieves a function stored in f from the global scope and calls it. Print is one of those. Yeah. So if you call print y, y is not out here in the global scope, it's inside of f, it's indented in. Okay. Loops and branches do not create their own scopes, so anything declared within them can still be used outside. So for I in range 3, when you get done, you can print I and it'll be, what, 0, 1, 2 is the 3 numbers you'd get back from this. It'll print 2. This is the last iteration for loop, assigned 2 to I. Everything up to here is the same in Python. First difference is in how global definitions from other files are imported. Right. I was wondering how they were going to do this. Python uses the import statement for this. The game imports global functions automatically. Okay. Any functions defined in loaded files will be added to the global scope before execution, so you can use functions declared in other files. Sweet. Note that this is not the case for global variables. They are only available when the line where they are assigned actually runs. Only the global scope of the window on which you click the execute button will be executed. So if I have 2 files, and I say something like x equals 1 over here, and then I try to access x from over here, I won't be able to because it only exists here. But if I do something like define get x, and return 1 or something like that, x equals 1, return x. I could call get x from over here and say something like x equals get x. Just wondering if I get documentation. Oh, I do. Can I do the comment, string comments? Is my example function. Okay, put the focus over here. Oh, I didn't like it. Have I not unlocked comments yet? Okay. Don't worry about that. I was just curious, testing something. That's one of the things I find fun about software and coding, is just testing stuff. Does this do what I think it does? Yes or no? Make a change. Any functions defined in loaded files will be added to the global scope before execution. Not the case for global variables. They're only available. Yes. So x would only exist over here if I define it over here, which I'm doing, yeah. Variables from the global scope can be read anywhere, but assignments will always assign to the local scope. So when x equals 1 here, then f x plus equals 1 would make it equal 2. We call f, we say print, it should be this. Yeah, the code prints 1, not 2, because x plus 1 will first read 1 from the global variable, and then assign 2 to a new local variable that's also called x. So maybe don't do that because it'll get confusing. And the global variable is never changed. This behavior differs slightly from that of Python. Python throws an error here because you are trying to read from a local variable before it's assigned. In Python, it is also possible to use the global keyword to declare that you want to use the global variable instead of the local one, but this is not supported in this game, and that's fine. If you really need to update global variables, you can use a dictionary for it. They use reference semantics, which means that the variable holds a reference to the underlying dictionary rather than storing the data structure directly in the variable. I didn't unlock dictionaries yet though, right? Yeah, they're way down here. You can modify the underlying dictionary without updating the variable in the global scope. Since the variable in the global scope still points to the same dictionary, it will also reflect any changes made to that dictionary. To illustrate, consider the following code. Assign dictionary in a global scope. Okay, so just at the top level of the file. And inside of our function, we're making a change to the dictionary that is referenced by D. So it was X, the X key refers to 1 at first. And we do plus equals 1 every time we call F. Well, interesting, they never actually called the function. If you call the function and then print what the value of x is here, it'll update it. Permanently delete. Ooh, docked it. Permanently delete the file in this window. Yep. Delete. Okay. Back to... Oh, we were on... What did we just unlock? Trees, functions. Huh. It's opening everything in separate windows this time. It's a little weird. Did I... Ah, this is where I stopped. Okay. So you've already seen built-in functions like harvest. You can also define your own functions, which allows structuring your code in a modular way. It basically allows you to give a name to a block of code, so you can call it from anywhere you want. Function definitions, for example, you could define a function that moves the drone several times. Move, yeah, so I could write a function to return to 0. 0, 0. The define keyword signals that this is a function definition. Move n dir is the name that the function gets bound to. This can be any valid variable name and will be used to call the function. N and dir are parameters. They are variables that hold the values that are passed into the function. Sort of like north or entities.bush are being passed into move and plant here. You can add as many parameters to a function definition as you want. After the colon, semicolon, colon. I always confuse those two. My English major wife would be appalled. After the colon comes the code block that will run when the function is called, indented. With the above definition, the following code then moves the drone 10 tiles north and 2 tiles west. 10 north, 2 west. Sweet. Return values. Use the return keyword to make a function return a value. For example, the following function defines the exclusive OR operation. The exclusive OR returns true if one value is true and the other one is false. Basically, they're not equal to each other. Do a flip. Okay. Tuples allow returning multiple values. I don't know if... Is that something else we have to unlock too? Tuples? I think we've got that. You can assign default values that will be used if no arguments are passed, so they're just parameter equals something. An argument that has a default value cannot be followed by an argument that doesn't have a default value. That's the way it is in Python. Advanced function usage. Functions are just values like any other value, and the define statement just acts like an assignment statement, assigning the function to whatever name you give it. This allows doing things like this. Nested function, do a flip, return D, and if you call F, here the F, this calls the function F, which is returning the function D, and you're calling D the second time you're calling the D function within it. That's so weird, but it's also a thing you can do. Doing these sorts of things is not usually a good idea because it's hard to see what's going on. Yes. Functions that take other functions as arguments let you get really creative. Now this is something you see all the time. Here, they're using an underscore because they're not actually using this number. They just want to have a placeholder. So that's a common thing to do in Python when you don't actually need to use this value. Use an underscore instead of some sort of variable name. So functions that take other functions as arguments. So like G will take a function and call it 10 times. So we can pass in move by name and north. It'll move 10 times to the north. And then use the fertilizer 10 times on that same square. But both times they're calling F. So it's making it do something 10 times, basically. All right. So maybe we do use this. Let's write a function in a new file here. Can I give it a name? I can. Cool. This will be so like clear is a hard reset, right? It sets everything back to grass and puts the drone at 0, 0. Let's call this like soft reset. Because all I want to do is move the drone back to 0, 0. So we can use get position X and Y, right? The position Y is how far we have gone this way. And get position X will tell us how far we've gone this way. So if we say for, let's say X in range how many times do we want to do this? Get position X minus wait, we're aiming for 0. Get position X. Actually, we don't have to do the subtraction, do we? Or I could also write like a move to function. That'd be kind of cool. But let's just do move south. Wait, X is across. We don't want to move south. We want to move left, west. And then for Y in range, get position Y, move south. Then if I call that every time I start, ooh, I should delete that X thing. Oh, I got an error. Didn't put the colon. So let's start each time by doing a soft reset. I should move it here and then start. And no matter where it is when we stop, it goes back to 0, 0. Wait for it to get further in. Start. Sweet. Alright, that's nice. It's also nice that the code we wrote over here doesn't depend on where it starts. It just, It also, though, is kind of hard-coded to what goes where. And we could do some kind of logic, I don't know, might be too complicated. Do some kind of logic that says, you know, just don't plant 2 trees next to each other. Whatever we have the lowest of, plant more of that. Something like that, right? We have to trade to get the carrot seeds. I suppose we could only buy carrot seeds if we don't have any, right? There was a way to... How did trade work? Programming, general, unlocks, trade, items, trade. Right, so there is a way to... Is it num unlocked? Multi-trade is not done yet. Okay. Num unlocked. Num items? Yes. Find out how much of item you currently have. Returns the number of item currently in your inventory. So we could check if we have any carrot seeds rather than just buying them every single time. Let's do that. If num items dot carrot seed equals 0, then do a trade for carrot seeds. That way we don't keep slowly growing a number of carrot seeds over time there. Okay, it kind of docks it to the bottom. Cool. Just interface things. So let's run it. And we'll see our carrot seeds slowly get down to 0. And then it'll buy one the next time it needs it. Yep. It was 1, 0. Sweet. Okay, we can let that run. So we got functions. All right. What's utilities do? Min, max, absolute value, and random. Kind of cool. Plus pumpkins, though. So pumpkins, we need 1,000 carrots. 1,000 carrots. We expand. Oh, we need pumpkins for that. Watering. Let's do watering so things grow faster. Plants grow faster when they are watered. The ground has a water level ranging from 0 to 1. function getWater returns the water level of the ground it is over. The growth speed of a plant growing on tilled soil grows linearly from 1x speed at water level 0 to 5x speed at water level 1. Watering only affects plants growing on tilled soil. It doesn't have any effect on plants growing on turf. Soil dries up over time. Water loses 1% of its current water every now and then. Keeping the water level high will consume much more water than keeping it low. You can use water tanks to water your plants. You can purchase empty tanks with wood using trade items. Empty tank. Tank can hold a quarter water. Interesting. Tanks fill up automatically. The fill rate is 0.5% of the number of empty tanks per second. So if you have 100 empty tanks, one of them will fill every 2 seconds. Call use item. Items equals water tank over any ground to empty a tank and water the ground. So are tanks just something I have around? Let's stop so I can think a second. Let's just wood. How much wood does it cost for a water tank? Did it say? Info, items, water tank. It doesn't tell me there. I feel like it said somewhere though. Unlocks. Watering, that's what I'm reading already. Breakpoints, comma, continue for functions if operators. Okay. Let's just buy one. See what we get. Trade for items dot water tank. Empty tank. Run it once. Have one. Empty tanks automatically turn into water tanks over time. Is that while I'm just sitting here too, or only when I'm moving? Like running the code, I mean. Watering is getting kind of complicated. Increase the yield of trees. Yes, please. I can almost do another one. Let's just run it. $317, $327. Nice. So we're getting 10 wood per tree now. I was kind of hoping that if I mouse over it... Yeah, we just get this. We have 100 empty tanks. One of them will fill every 2 seconds. Fill rate is 0.5% of the number of tanks per second. 0.5%. So I have 2 tanks times... Well, what's 0.5% of 2, right? That's, Man, I'm glad I don't normally have to do math on stream. Oh, hey, we got one. So we've got water tank now. Yeah, it just opens watering. Okay. We could water the carrots, because that's the only one that's tilled. I'm gonna have to think about the water, I think. Come up with some sort of... How do we keep enough water for what we want, and how do we plant or use the water best? Get water. So the water loses 1% of its current water every now and then. Keeping the water level high will consume much more water than keeping it low. But it also grows the fastest if you have it at level 1. That sounds complicated. Multi-trade at 300 carrots. So now we can call trade and pass in a value of how many we want to buy. Buying items one by one takes a lot of time. You can now specify the number to buy in bulk. If you can't afford that many, it'll simply do nothing instead of buying fewer items. Okay. Sunflowers? Sunflowers and power. Let's run a little bit more. That was 500? Yes. Let's give 500 carrots. Carrot seeds cost a hay and wood. Just watching this and thinking to myself, what if we made it completely dynamic? It'd be a whole lot more complicated. But you know, we could do things like, we need carrots. Carrots are what's unlocking things right now. Right? Whatever the treasure chests are, I don't know. I mean, I guess upgrading some things will cost hay, net. But if we have more carrots or more of something else than we have, say, the carrots, we should plant more carrots, right? I guess I did buy 3 of these. Oh, I guess one more thing. Empty tanks. 0.5% of the number of empty tanks per second. Now, if I use the water tank, does it go back to an empty tank? And does it error, or if I don't have the water, does it error, or is it gonna be fine? Till use item items dot water tank. Oh, that's only if we have to till it, and we don't have to till it. Just move that out to here so it's not contingent on the tilling. Get another empty tank, sure. Okay, it does go back to empty. And it doesn't seem like it errors or anything if I call use item and we don't have water. Okay, pretty cool. Sunflowers need 500 carrots, right. So I do kind of want to write this to keep like the hay, wood, and carrots kind of even. Right now we have tons more wood than we have carrots, and even quite a bit more than we have of the hay. So if we could make it more dynamic and say, wherever we are, what do we need most right now? And Also consider don't plant 2 trees right next to each other. Okay, we're over 500. Let's get sunflowers. Sunflowers collect the power of the sun. You can harvest that power. Planting them works exactly the same way as planting carrots, except you have to buy sunflower seeds instead of carrot seeds. However, when you harvest a sunflower, the power of all the sunflowers on the farm flows together into the harvested plant. Thus, harvesting a sunflower yields power equal to the square root of the number of sunflowers on the farm. Only one of the sunflowers with the most petals can handle this. If you harvest a sunflower that doesn't have the most petals of all the sunflowers on the farm, the power will destroy all the sunflowers on the farm. Oh no. Measure returns the number of petals of the sunflower under the drone. Sunflowers have at least 7 and at most 15 petals. They can be measured before they are fully grown. Several sunflowers can have the same number of petals, so there can also be several sunflowers with the largest number of petals. In this case, it doesn't matter which one of them you harvest. As long as you have power, the drone will use it to run twice as fast. Whoa. It consumes 1 power every 30 actions, like moves, harvests, plants. Executing other code statements can also use power, but a lot less than drone actions. In general, everything that is sped up by speed upgrades is also sped up by power. Anything sped up by power also uses power proportional to the time it takes to execute it, ignoring speed upgrades. Okay. So it sounds like we're gonna have to do some measuring of what's there, keeping track of how many we have, and making sure that what we're pulling from, like, visit everything once before we try to harvest any sunflowers. Also sounds like we could use lists. That way we can keep track of what sunflowers we have, and maybe even, finding the maximum number of those. But I want to unlock pumpkins. So we need a heck of a lot more carrots. I think that's our next step. Making this dynamic to boost, grow our hay, wood, and carrots evenly. That seems right. Also, maybe we till everything? That way, we can water everything, if possible, just to get that little bit of a speed boost. But anyway, I think that's something I'm gonna have to think about how to do best, and in order to do that, I'll revisit this all in the next episode. What did we unlock today? We unlocked watering, multi-trade, sunflowers, some upgrades to yield and speed, and we got functions. So we can do a lot of cool stuff now with some of this stuff we unlocked. We can do more dynamic things, like, I need this many carrots, let's buy that many at once. We have way too much wood or something, let's buy whatever it is we need. 1,000 treasure chests. I wonder where we even get those. A maze with a treasure in the middle. Okay. Mazes, that does actually sound pretty fun. Yeah, we're gonna go for, I think, pumpkins. And do some dynamic stuff with making sure we're doing a balanced farm out here. But yeah, like I said, that'll be next episode. In the meantime, remember to be kind, have fun, and I'll see you all later. Bye, everyone.